or 3 guys there, killing him, trading, and taking that spike down afterwards. 4-4. I'll again say SMB have impressed me on these retakes. They've looked really clean moving back into sites. Even in that round where they have the Bulldog and a couple of pistols, it seems like they're always putting up a fight. And so far, you're not seeing easy rounds for Fnatic. That's the key for me. If they can keep this up, this could be a very strong map indeed, considering it's Fnatic's map pick as well.
Yeah, they've just got to be careful in this one. They've had so many opportunities now to actually build something, and they've always fallen flat, be it versus a Bladestorm or a single rifle invested. And I was about to say they looked a bit better in this round, and now Mystic has just run through mid. Okay, he's gone though. And that's all the weaponry that they had.
It's hard to imagine you'll even be able to catch them by surprise, I suppose, with one player in middle having already been spotted and the others caught behind a wall here. Fnatic are definitely pumping the brakes, just looking for any opportunities to present themselves, and, well, they do exactly that. Brave has been dropped, A side is down, and the plant is now secured. That was a big gap in SMB's defense.
Yeah, I'm starting to get worried about the walls that they're actually placing. They're almost using it as they can't get past this spot. And now we've actually got a delayed lockdown. I like it. Buying extra time. Push actually going to continue to come through. A chance to actually destroy it. And they'll know that there's players here. Boaster, he's only going to be able to get one. And there's still only a single rifle available at the moment. In fact, Brave is currently playing with his ultimate. That's what he's going for. Just sitting back and watching to see if anybody tries to tap that defuse. His teammate just looking to try and defend him. And well, Zisto might actually be able to bypass everything. But the defuse, it's not going to go through, and I think the time is now too far gone.
Zisto's ended up... Look, Magnum doesn't even realize that Zisto's there. The timing for Zisto in dropping down, it looked like he perfectly caught Magnum off, and instead he ends up, like, peeking up onto Belt and then dropping down right behind him, and then turning just as Zisto rounds the corner.
If that's the thing, if Brave actually hadn't fallen all the way back and had just used his ult by his teammate, which would have been perfectly rational, he would be dead there, and the round would have actually gone in the other direction. So it's a little bit unlucky for Zisto that he went all the way back to like the spawn site. It's definitely the safest place to do it, but it's still one of those things that in the moment you're not always going to think of. Again, though, it's another round where Fnatic had basically nothing, and they managed to win it. And I think that's also the second time where Brave has put down a wall and then just assumed they can't get over it and died because of it.
This is going to be a little bit difficult now. You see right away at the start of the round, Boaster lines up with the slow warp. He makes Orion's belt, fires it through, and it does slow them in front of Yellow, but they don't follow up on the back of that. Fnatic kind of stall out, playing their default. I wonder if they were trying to get a push on A with that early pressure on utility and destroying the Killjoy utility and so on, but it hasn't worked out, and they're left to reset into the last minute. It's a good example of why, you know, patient play sometimes is the way to go. You don't have to react to everything your opponents are doing. Right here, SMB call Fnatic's bluff, and now you're left with 45 seconds and 0 map control, 0 information.
Oh, 40 seconds. As of right now, SMB none the wiser of where their opponents are going to be going. Dirk making the move, but it's Zisto again, winning a lot of these duels on this side of the map. And he's also got his teammate putting the Hunter's Fury through. This is going to be a late take, Mitch, into the A site. And honestly, they need an instant kill, and they haven't found it.
Yeah, SMB have continued that patient streak. They're just sitting in position on the A site with Izzy, waiting to catch any late lurks. Ultimately, not overcommitting on the B side hold. They had 2 players there, which, you know, you don't expect them then to start rushing forward like crazy. But the fact that they take the fights for what information they can, reset the Killjoy utility, they pop the alarm bot up close, they pull back the turret to watch right side Yellow. At no point is anybody on B constantly worrying about 2 angles, right? They have their 1 angle to hold, so it's under control. They don't need to shift their A or their mid play. And I think that from Fnatic is a little bit of a misread on how SMB were going to approach that defensive round. I think they assumed there would be a lot more aggression coming out of this Turkish side than what we just saw.
Looking maybe a bit more like this round.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I don't know if I've seen someone miss that, especially with the jet. Like, you could literally float onto that corner, but oh well, I guess they don't see anything. There's no one there, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, maybe it was an info play. You never know. It's,
yeah, you know,
I guess
with an
if
operator.
some help. Yeah, why not? We should hit up Kellogg's, teach him about the movement, get him up on those corners.
I prefer your scenes, Jet.
Do you? Yeah, I don't think anyone does. I don't think Yassine does. Oh, we got a minute on the clock. We're tied up coming into the home stretch of the half. And Glove is going for a peek on back yellow in through his own wall. That has not paid off. Now, so far for SMB, they've been really, really good on retakes. I doubt they're gonna have to play the retake here, really, aren't they? The slow is great. The nano on the back of it. Boaster's down massively on HP, and now there's a gap in the wall as well.
Yeah, this is getting scary. They're gonna have to just rely on someone like Durka holding this angle once again. We saw him do it previously, but this time he'll go down, and it just becomes almost panic. Cider X swings, drop the spike, but the remaining players are just not being able to take these duels over the line, and it comes back to Fnatic once again with an advantage to spam, doing so much damage, but it's not quite enough to stop the... Oh, actually, no, it is. It is enough to stop the plant, but there is only one man standing, and he's been forced back off the angle. This time, the plant will go through, but Mystic's already managed to get the kill.
Well, with 6-5, Fnatic have taken the lead, but can they hold on to it coming into the next half? For SMB, it's been a good defensive side. You know, I feel like their retakes have been solid. The rounds they've given to Fnatic have mostly been close and very aggressively or very heavily fought for. Which is what you want to see. You know, they're not rolling over here. Great round out of Mystic.
Oh, it was actually Izzy who hit him with the spam. Because I was looking at that, I was like, how did he get spammed through when the other player was dead? But no, it was actually just Izzy shooting one operator shot and getting the final kill and almost winning them it. Because again, if he survives there, the plant was pretty late to go down. Maybe he manages to take things over the line. Operator now on both sides. In fact, I was gonna say there's 3, but now there's only 2.
Wasn't even the intended target. There he is. Glove eventually going to be dropped by Durka for his second kill in the round. The B side is now Fnatic's. SMB have got a tough decision to make and how to rotate in. It's a spawn play. That's yielded them at least one duel. But a 4v3 still sits. Man advantage towards Fnatic. And now they've got something even more terrifying, which is a very heavy post-plan setup. 2 shock darts still to play with as well as snake bites and a poison orb on the side.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because they know that they're coming in on that flank as well. So they're just going to keep spamming that utility. They're not even going to use it for the after plant because there really isn't much point. They have a player waiting. In fact, they have multiple players waiting for our Cider X, and the remaining 2 are nowhere near. They're not even going to get to the spike in time. They basically have to run through the entirety of the Fnatic offense if they're going to stand a chance. That's pretty nice from Brave. It gives them an angle, but, well, Izzy's stuck behind a wall.
Yeah, that's always going to be the problem. There's a little bit of a boost to try and get his way in, but so many players left to deal with those last 2, plus the clock that was evidently against him. 7-5 in the end. Fnatic, I'm sure they're going to be happy with that half, all things considered. But it doesn't really set up a clear favorite coming into this next half, and that puts a little bit of extra pressure on the pistol.
Yeah, 7-5 is about as standard as it gets. In fact, you probably want a little bit more normally on the attack, but as I was saying earlier, what we've seen recently from Fnatic is a really stellar defense.
You know, Durka's had a couple moments on this map before where maybe he hasn't felt too comfortable. He's tweeted about it in the past. But 18-10, not bad. Not bad. He's off to a pretty good start.
I feel like him on this map is probably the purest you're ever going to see of like a full-on entry fragger. So like on the attack side, it is going to be hit and miss because he's basically just running at them trying to get headshots. Like sure, there's supportive utility, but that is his role within the team. If he was consistently positive in every single game, they would win every game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would have some serious problems if your Jet was just dominating again and again in the role. Same as on Split, right? You can't really have it. This pistol's seen the B site split through mid. Bit of aggression from SMB, but Fnatic are going to fight back here. Grab one kill. Durka spotted out. 13 HP left. He'll make it around the corner. That shock dart comes in to say hello. And Cider actually lost a fair bit of health off of that. with everybody tagged up on SMB and the spike's still not planted, Fnatic have got them boxed in as well.
I'm also a little worried because Bosa still has his wall. So for late round scenarios, this could become very dangerous, especially with how tagged up the majority of the players are on the other side. They need to try and make a move. And the other thing as well is if they leave it too late, he could just wall them off and make this impossible. So there has to be something coming up soon from Supermassive Blaze.
Revealing area.
Well, yeah, they were boxed in, like I said, and they knew it. They knew that these players had pushed A and mid, that they had the control. So eventually they group up, they fight towards their own spawn and clear it out. But they've got to be quick in making it to this A site. Only one player waiting for them, but 15 seconds. They run onto the site. Brave App able to take the first, but he'll go down after, not buying that much time. 8 seconds left. Time for the plant now or never. And Dirk has gone in. He stopped it at the final hour and closed it out on kills. Didn't even let the clock be the final enemy.
It's one of those rounds where you'll watch it back if you're Supermassive Blaze and realize you very easily could have killed him earlier on, and that round probably would have been in the bag. But hey, it's all hindsight in the end, and I think Fnatic played that well. Getting the rotation, having that sort of watch into mid, Brave AF just being able to catch them as they try and rotate through, and of course Durka just doing Durka things as per usual. And that's the thing, now they've got off to that strong start. It's not going to be the same as on the other side where you have that spike down, you can invest into this round and try and do some damage. Again, it's just an opportunity for Fnatic to sort of farm up their ultimates and potentially look in the future to play this one as a bonus.
Recon up at the start of the round, trying to reveal Mystic, but it won't catch him. He's backing out of here, giving up all that control. Okay, he spotted them out. It's time to leave. You don't want to stick around with these pistols. In fact, one's already behind him. Still manages to deal with Izzy, but it does cost him his life in the end.
Yeah, again, we talk about getting a couple of kills in rounds like this. It really isn't too bad. A spike plant would have been... Has he just got a wallbang with a ghost twice? Twice? No, you know, 3 bonuses. We'd have to report you for that one. That shouldn't happen. Not 2 with the same gun, but okay. Okay. 9 to 5. We move on. We forget about it.
Yeah, that's one of the things you definitely don't want to be remembering if you're over on that SMB side. Luckily, they've got their rifles coming into this round, though. So it's time to wipe their recent memory and have a good time. Because they're coming up against just a few SMGs, a Marshall. I think there's a Guardian in the mix.
Why have you said just? Yeah. Like, why are you doing that to them?
Round. There's essentially no chance that
you're
win
awful.
it.
You're awful.
That's the one Guardian on Brave. Gonna go in for the orb right away. Aggressive early round, but with the recon up and his teammate there, he knew he had the control. I like it. Now they've got Dirk in a nasty little spot.
Here.
Yeah, it looks like from the utility as well that this B site almost just comes down to delay. I think Bosa's also walled himself up just to have a ratty little angle from Snowman. So they're basically just playing information and delay on this side of the map. He's actually just been dinked up. So you've got to be a little bit careful. The boost spot from Bosa clearly gets absolutely nothing, and now the B site really is just open for business.
I mean, it's still tough enough, though. When you move towards this site now with the Viper wall up, you have 2 players ready to spam it down. Durka applying pressure behind. They've actually dropped Mystic. That fight straight down through the alley. Why is he still fighting the ghost out? This guy's crazy.
Magnum, again, it's just about damage. How many players can they clear out here? He's got himself and Brave AF just playing from a distance. A couple of low players, maybe the Shock Dart can do something over the top and trying to at least force them into some more awkward angles. But with the remaining couple of players so desperately low, eventually Glove is there to close it. 6th round, 3 players surviving, sort of the minimum you want for Supermassive Blaze. And in reality, this is where things get difficult because I think Durka was well, let's put it this way. I think he was saving up for something, Mitch.
Yeah, there's a weapon that I heard Durka likes to use every now and then. The Odin? No, it's obviously that operator. You're seeing it in his hands right now. 21 and 11 on a map that normally Durka isn't too much of a fan of. So this is certainly a good start for him. And now with the operator in his hands, this is the potential to become a fantastic start. I think he's going for the under tube peak. Oh, in fact, the over tube peak. And got the wall up, and he's going to grab one. It looked like that could have been a collateral for a second. I thought Sistel was in a lot of trouble, but they'll only get the one for it.
Oh, they managed to force Mystic back as well. Like, all in all, that's not a bad trade. And actually, Mystic goes swinging. An easy kill for Cyrex. Again, the B side looking a little bit more vulnerable at the moment for Fnatic. And well, they fully rotated. They pulled every single player in to try and delay this as much as possible, and at least managing to get rid of that wall can cause some issues. Magnum with the swing as well. This now becomes competitive.
That's certainly being fought for. That drone activated at just the perfect time to potentially catch the Viper inside of the pit. It doesn't look like it's going to have that result, though. Interesting response. Down goes the lockdown in prime position. Can't spam it right now. Can't really do anything about it. And with a player like Cyrex already out of the round for SMB, Fnatic know they've got that control. The late flank attempt is going to come through, but they're just sticking this right under their nose.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking for SMB. Misplaced utility and I guess a little bit too much faith in what was a Viper's pit setup that 9 times out of 10 yields an easy round. That's crazy. Was that a nano swarm that was just too far off the spike or what?
I don't know. It looked like I could hear it, but it looked like it was doing no damage because I think the only damage he was taking was from the Viper's pit, which then just faded away. So yeah, that I heard it go off. I don't know where it was supposed to be, but it definitely doesn't look like it was in the right spot. So
I've never seen
that's
someone
gone very
miss a nano
wrong.
swarm.
Yeah, it's almost like you can just drop it on the ground.
Yeah. Unless it was flung over from afar, of course. Maybe we'll take a look at that after the game. Nurka's just been dropped, attempting. We've seen that position used before, backed up by Brave, but they've both gone down. Fnatic losing the sight, but it's a stack. And to SMB, when they know there's more players here, Boaster up above, might now take all their focus. No, he doesn't. Magnum is swung on. They have all the info to play with here. Well handled by SMB. That's a 4v2 that Fnatic will probably struggle to even go for.
Yeah, it's whether it's even worth it as well with their financial situation. Like, a lot of closer rounds that we've seen over the last couple. So for them, looking to try and face into 4 players, probably not going to be worth it. Maybe Mystic could opt to try and get a kill on the way out just to try and get a bit closer to that Viper's pit, but in reality, it's not going to happen. And I like the pace change. Like, we've seen a lot of sort of slow, scrappy rounds. Like Supermassive Blaze looking for openers. In this case, they just blitz it through. And the fact is, we've seen Durka get aggressive on this side of the map so regularly. It really isn't a bad counter at all.
Makes a lot of sense for Fnatic carrying these weapons through to the next round. I think it's going to put them in a decent spot to fight back into it.
¿Se puede disparar a través de esa
As the
pared?
timer ticks over.
Una buena pregunta.
And with the Blade Storm, it becomes a decent buy if they want to force up into it. Mystic can drop over a rifle. There you go. This is it, though. It's a line in the sand, really, for Fnatic to try and defend. Otherwise, SMB, they're right back into it. You know, these guys could be looking at 9 rounds. And on the attack side, a Turkish team like this, Izzy popping off. All the things are, all the win conditions are being lined up right now.
Yeah, and then we're starting to see a couple of players like Brave having a round or two as well with a double entry. So there's possibilities here. Durka just goes for the same swing, and this time he gets 140'd. So it's almost an identical scenario. The thing is that the res just brings it straight back into that 5 versus 5. Magnum wanted to try and maybe take a bit of a risky peek, and Durka's still just swinging with those knives. I wonder, though, has he maybe run out?
I think he might have. He's holding a weapon for now. Classic, I think, in his hands. And I don't believe it, but he is pushing with that classic.
He wants this gun so bad, and you can see Zisto on the other side like, no. Like, you're not having it. You don't deserve it after getting 114 and then surviving. Oh, if he'd won that duel, I would have been out. I would have cried.
Jeez, man. So, an opening duel attempted by Fnatic with a classic, and it hasn't gone well, has it?
It almost did.
It almost did, and that's the worst part. That's the worst part. They almost won it. Well, that ult's got to push Magnum out. It's time to run away. Was he was about to be detained. That's a free plant for SMB, 4v4, but the problem is this downside are both very, very low. Hunter's Fury is going to be attempted, but Fnatic are also waiting on the flank. Mystic wants to catch this player out, so they're not going to have the ability to play a super safe Hunter's Fury. Instead, it's going to be activated from back yellow. That is risky. If he gets pushed down here, if they started to aggress, he would have been in a lot of trouble, but they're trying to defuse the spike. And so instead, Zistel's able to grab a triple on Mystic's flank. Well, it never amounts to anything, question mark? Surely not this time. Mystic gets away with it. The clutch there for Fnatic. An 11th round secured. Super massive plays have got to be feeling deflated. I mean, that was a misplay. Oh, wow. That was a misplay from Fnatic. Let's make it clear. You know, those 3 players on the site rushing forward, taking those fights. They're trying to cause that distraction for the flank from Mystic. But once the Hunter's Fury is activated, they cannot lose all those fights to Zistel. That's just unacceptable. He even got tagged running forward by the Hunter's Fury. It's the best part.
Yeah, it almost comes down to like which is more surprising, Zisto getting that many kills pushing, or Mystic winning that 1v2 or being shot in the arse by a turret. Like he had to turn around after getting the first kill to shoot the turret and then turn back and clutch. Like neither of those plays made any sense, and the fact is Fnatic, I guess it's balance with Mystic winning it because they probably should have closed out that round anyway.
2 rounds left to close this out for Fnatic, and just look at SMB's economy. It is in tatters right now, in the garbage. And if they lose this one, then, well, yeah, you're kind of on pistols for your final round. Not the best of looks, that's for sure. Fnatic also have the ulti to play with there, the Viper's Pit. If they have to play into a retake, things can be fantastic for them on this B side. Tagged up, no Mystic will go down.
I like it. They almost bypass it, but then they fall into the trouble of players spamming them from spawn. They spike down, but Glove will trade. Bringing things back into a 3v3 scenario. The drone will garner a little bit of extra information, and they have to be careful because Dirk is sneaking through, managing to get back in from behind. He's been dinked up, and actually, every single duel in a matter of seconds goes the way of Supermassive Blaze.
No puedes tomar esos duelos así. Yo he
really got
aprendido eso.
cornered coming into those last couple of fights, but they came out swinging. 11-8, 3 rounds between them. Another situation for SMB where, yeah, they're going to have to invest most of their economy coming into this round. But it's not the end of the world. They can still fight for this because they're up against pistols. All they have to do is avoid running into the stack. Don't get ripped to pieces by these pistols. The problem is we've seen what Dirk can do with a classic in his hand. Now he's got a Sheriff, and I think he's pushing the same position.
Well, that's the other problem. They have lost a couple of these rounds, like with a solo rifle or with just an aggro play, and there's going to be another one here. Glove on the other side. I'd be very disappointed if they didn't manage to close this round out because, well, they basically walked into the exact position that Supermassive Blaze are waiting for. Patience pays off, and is he even there to get rid of Mystic? This is done.
Big fan of SMB's approach there. They've just looked at how Fnatic like to play these rounds, both in buy rounds and ecos. They wait, hold for the pushes, fight for the B choke point. Textbook stuff really from them, and well, they've received the reward that is deserved. Looks to be a flawless round. Only Magnum left alive, and the man has got a shorty in his hands. Tom, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you meters. The exact range of a shorty, but not that long.
He'd need 45 bullets.
They're gonna push him.
To do about 8 damage.
Close. There's already someone here. They don't know it's a shorty, Tom. Oh, unlucky.
There's just no. Just get out of here trying to do that. You're better off trying to throw your knife. Like, more of a chance of getting something there. 11-9. The SMB starting to grind out those rounds, and as said, like they're definitely a team that can play the attack, but Fnatic's defense has looked pretty decent. Coming through with a flawless in a round like this, it's an economy builder, not only for your cash, but also for the ultimates. You're gonna have the Viper's Pit online, so they are definitely building themselves right back into this map. And well, Fnatic, they're gonna have that operator, but at a sacrifice for some shields, even a few pieces of utility maybe missing here or there, so they do have to be a little bit careful in this one.
Another early orb for Brave Af. He's getting that pretty much every round at this point, popping the deep recon and then swinging on in. One away from Hunter's Fury. But the res is online for Fnatic, so they can feel a little bit comfortable in taking slightly more aggressive duels. That said, they're not actually very passive. Aside from holding the B choke point, this is both teams, I guess, waiting for the other to make a move. This is a stalemate.
I guess for Fnatic, when you have something like a lockdown and a res in play, like you're almost setting up for a retake. So any information they can get just without sacrificing any of their players in the early round is going to be incredibly valuable for them. And on the other side of things, well, the only ultimate they have is a Viper's Pit, which is pretty damn useless versus a lockdown. So it almost comes down to a game of chicken. But they're grouping up and just taking a lot of mid control. Now, at least for now, not a lot of information going to be available. However, this turret might just change that.
I certainly should do. Some steps have been
30
heard.
seconds left.
And now they know. There's players inside of Kitchen. They're steaming forward. That Nano Swarm's delayed them completely, and the Slow Orb stops them going back. There's only 20 seconds left, and the spike is now down. They know these players are in position, are trying to fight for this control, and they're getting nothing done. SMB's Lurker of Cider X, he was supposed to late come up through B long to catch these players off guard as they were attempting to fight for the site. Instead, he is the last man standing, attempting to even carry forward this rifle to the next round. He will do so. And although they'll get a full buy, there's only one more round needed for Fnatic now.
That setup was gorgeous from Fnatic. The fact that I think that might be the most damage I've seen done by a Nano Swarm in a long time, just catching them as they go out. The combination, even getting a kill off the back of the slow, and then a shock dart comes through just moments later and kills off another player. Like, they basically had them completely surrounded with the information they had and just the setup that they were ready for. So great round from the defensive side of Fnatic. And now, well, the potential final hurrah. 3 rounds in a row needed for Supermassive Blaze, and they at least have themselves 4 rifles on the board.
Now, it looks like, you know, kind of strange we haven't seen a pause called through at this point. You think we want to take a moment and slow things down, think about it, right? I guess they've been doing that enough in those early rounds, though. The super passive approach, this time much more pointed. The turret covering the back, Viper watching mid, and SMB looked for the A site, but they're not finding anybody yet with those early spams. The drone has spotted a few of them too. And it does look like they're going to commit to this. Definitely wanting to drag these rotations over to allow Glove to have that late lurk. I don't know, though. It seems like they're being very conscious of this flank play. Glove is just now making a move on his way through. Passed by his orb already, making his way up through middle. This could be dangerous, Tom. They haven't spotted him just yet. And I think he's going to realize that he's in a prime position to just get the jump on them. That lockdown even coming into play. Oh, but he fires off a little too early, and he's going to be caught. Now the lockdown comes into completion. Fnatic have taken this one easily. Oh, that is a big blow to SMB.
Oh, and they've even got the wall down. There's no chance. There's nothing they can do. Cider X is going to get one just for, well, I get a little bit better stats, but it is going to be the victory going the way of Fnatic, and they'll even close them out again. I like it. They basically played that exactly as I was talking about the previous round, where they had themselves that lockdown available and basically just looked to play the retake, but it looked for just a moment, Mitch, that there was some hope. Like that flag play had a chance to, even if he was just a little bit more patient, just get rid of that lockdown, and then the round completely changes. But wow, it's very easy to say that in hindsight, and Mystic was behind him anyway.
Yeah, it definitely did feel like Glove could get away with a little bit more there, but high intensity situation. Here's the steps, thinks he's being spotted, jumped the gun a little bit. I tell you what, Dirk has had one hell of a game though. 24-17 closing that one out for a man that normally has his worst maps here on Icebox. It's scary to see him activated this early on, because when the guy feels that comfortable to push you with a classic in his hand, you don't even imagine what's going to happen coming into the next map, which I believe is Fnatic's choice. For now, though, we're going to throw things off to a break. It has been a pleasure taking you through map 1. We're not done just yet, so don't go anywhere.
I'm legendary. I'm legendary. Notorious, victorious, I'm legendary.
can't hold me down. Yeah, how you like me now? You want beef, then have a call. Huh, looks like bling blow, ayy. Yeah, you can't hold me down. Yeah, how you like me now? You want beef, then have a call. Huh, looks like bling blow, ayy. Gonna, yeah, gonna, yeah, gonna, yeah, gonna, yeah.
My dreams, tell them when I'm moving upstream. So they wanna get on my jeans. I don't wanna give him my ring. Can have been blowing up, hit him with the right hook, left foot. I ain't scared of the man, I'm not shook. I've been running this jungle, that's my book. If you're looking at the king, better think twice. No, they're looking at the rain like it's free ice. Wanna know what it is, what it be like. What you really wanna do, what is street life? Try to tell her, come and follow my flow. But they rather follow my dough. Money might rule everything all around me, but me no way can I control. RMG.
Quiero probar algo. Quiero probar la bulla de ayer. Espera.
There's no party like a house party.
Todavía va a estar. Transportador listo. Eso bastará. Un regalo. Perfecto. Fuera de alcance. Todo listo. Fuera de alcance.
¿Quién es este?
Tengo el spike. Aún no tengo mi
serio?
ulti.
Esta es la derecha. Saca.
Solté el spike.
¿Por qué tenía un solo cuchillo?
¡Miren esto! Tengo el spike.
¿En serio?
Te solté el spike.
Ah, ya estamos listos.
A little bit of a skirmish in the early round. They're going to give up that B main. Well, you know, Fnatic, I thought they were going to give it up. Durka started to take a couple of steps towards it, but you know, they've bailed back. Sitting in a pretty standard defensive position. The weight is on SMB to make a move. That drone actually going to catch Boaster. And he's in a lot of trouble now, low on ammo if nothing else, but that grenade's going to buy him plenty of time. And they've now spotted 3 players inside of mid, but that doesn't help Boaster. He's walled off and isolated, taken down. Now the site's pressured. And although this shock dart grabs the first, Durka is still unaccounted for, lying in wait in the back of the site to at least grab the first. Plenty of damage being done as he dances left and right, even catching a headshot onto Zistao. The damage is massive, super massive. And SMB are in trouble, but they've returned a couple of kills. A quick headshot onto Magnum, leaving Mystic to do it all. The body shot's more than enough. He's looking the wrong way, but he turns just in time, but that's out of ammo. He'll be caught by a 6 HP Zistao. What a back and forth round. But in the end, SMB takes the cake.
The funniest thing as well is that Mystic could have just left, because they'd left the spike all the way back towards, like, well, exactly where we are now, just outside B. Like, they didn't bring it with them. Like, look at the spike on the map right now. They're fighting in a retake where there isn't even a spike to be planted. It's definitely a weird one, but I feel like Supermassive players are going to be quite happy with how it ended up.
Big oversight by SMB though, yeah, to leave the spike behind. I think they're gonna be thanking their lucky stars to still get that win on the board. Of course, from Fnatic's perspective, how are they supposed to know?
Yeah, who does
that? The spike's there, you know. they make the right call and running in. Thankfully for SMB, there's a shorty for Mystic, and I'm almost glad that he got taken down trying that. Magnum meets the same fate as well.
Yeah, a good opportunity, of course, for Supermassive Blaze to just build up some finances. Not really much invested at all. You got Brave AF just bringing in a Sheriff. Other than that, as you said, it was the incredibly cheap shorties that, well, we're trying to get a cheap couple of kills playing around the edge of the smoke. For now, though, again, one of the things I've quite liked in the anti-ecos, even though they've definitely had their issues with them, is just the patience of Supermassive Blaze. They're not just blitzing into a site, like, not worrying about stacks. They're actually taking their time and making sure they clear everything properly. And while Boaster, oh, he might actually get one here. He's
nasty. The one loss is fine though for SMB. They'll take it. It's just the fashion that they lose it in. It's always regrettable.
It's just annoying as well because they did everything right clearing the site, and they just didn't expect that 2 players would aggressively push up and the other one's just going to sit under balcony and almost just bait the living hell out of them. But in these sort of rounds, it really doesn't matter, and they've got their flank firmly covered. So I think the chances are they may not even face off against Brave AF in this sort of scenario and almost just look to allow him to die to the spike. No real value in risking any of their own weaponry for what will be a sheriff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Obviously,
not again.
You know, you'd be happy to get any old points.
Okay.
Number 1 enemy there. Luckily not going to take him down because Zistow's dead, leaving Brave to survive the turret at least for a moment.
Yeah, still a couple of kills, extra orb. It doesn't make that much of a difference. I think both teams are going to be fairly happy with how that round ended up. And actually, I was about to say, like Brave bought straight in with a rifle. I was thinking that might be a little bit bold, but it does seem like they're going to invest rather a lot into this one. And actually on the couple of players that maybe don't have the credits to do so, not really dropping anything extra over, just allowing Zisto to almost attempt to be that hero in this scenario. Now, in terms of ultimates, nothing really that close. And of course, for Fnatic, this is where they should get going.
I can definitely agree with the hero rifle play here for SMB. The thing that I'm not a big fan of is the fact that that hero rifle is playing on the other side of the map by itself. I'd much prefer to at least have that player there to back him up. But they're getting off to an okay start. Oh, that's so much damage from Boaster. You could see that second kill was coming. There's no way you survive that. A fragment taking 2. And while SMB's chances, they start to dive pretty quickly in this one. Already 2 kills, though. That's good considering the weapons that were in those fights. Now we come back to that rifle that's been sat here, trying to peek out on short and take those fights on mid. In the early round, nothing given to him. Zistow's got to create his own opportunities, walking back into the site, and there's one. Look, even one more kill now. This is winnable at this point, with the spike down and the players completely separated. If nothing else, there's at least a massive amount of damage being done to the economy.
Yeah, we've seen it in the previous map. This man in clutch situations, oh, he definitely has his moments. A little wary about some of the other angles to be cleared, but it's mainly just this fight versus Durka. If he can win it, he has a chance to steal the spike away, but may not expect the wraparound from Magnum. At least there should be a trader, but he doesn't allow him the time to actually get up above. Magnum not quite expected, but as you mentioned, that's a lot of damage done in this round. And well, Fnatic, they're only going to survive with that singular rifle.
You got a hero rifle and a couple SMGs, and SMB pull it back into that position. A 1v1 in the end. Gotta be damn happy with that. Great third round connected, and Fnatic now need to invest all of their economy into this round, and even then, they're not gonna have fully automatic rifles, let's say, because, oh, that's such a nice setup. Because I think, there you see it on your screen, 3 Guardians, yeah, and a Spectre to play with. This is a really tough 4th round.
The setup's there, though. We've seen how much damage they've been able to do with nano swarms, and although there is a lockdown being put into play, and it seems little chance of denying it, at least in time, and actually, Magnum's got to get out of there. I was about to say, I think they were expecting something to come through and destroy it. Instead, though, they've still been able to deny just the space. So even though they had the lockdown, they didn't actually manage to take the site before players have already pushed back in.
It's a piece of KO utility countering an ultimate. That is actually insane. Magnum picking up Glow. They can't even get to this site, just being wall banged down. Oh, that was tough for Brave. Only the one to be found. Cider on low HP, and Izzy, well, he's not doing too well either. Cider being scanned up, tagged up. Yeah, it's going to be left down to just the jet of Izzy. A big clutch needed, a 1v4. Already the first found, but too many players just rushing towards him. My God, what a round from Fnatic. That is truly remarkable. Seeing a lockdown and they want to run out at the last second, and nade goes down, and that's it. Your ulti is useless.
But that is the thing with just KO in general. It seems like more and more abilities are just coming out that are just going to completely screw Killjoy mains. I know that Average Jonas has a fat grin every time he thinks about it, but it's just irritating because not only do you have the ability that has such a large radius for destroying the lockdown just with the amount of damage it takes, but then you can also just do what Boaster did there, where it's like they think, oh, we got away with that one. They didn't destroy it with a few seconds left. and instead he just denies them pushing onto the site. And by that point, Magnum's already on the site again, so they didn't even clear it at all.
And now it's just pistols for SMB for the most part, with Izzy on a Spectre. And maybe he'll be able to grab a kill and fight up for the Bladestorm, but that's pretty much best case scenario right now.
What? What?
Look at this. It's just absolutely filthy.
Did he even see anything there, or did he just spam?
No, you just spam down.
Okay.
You
Cool.
ping the corner of the wall, just start spraying. You know, I've seen that done with an Odin before.
Yeah, I was about to
think
say.
Cold Amanda's been bold enough to do that, but you rarely see somebody just blind spray a Guardian and see what happens.
He is the wallbang king. Like, we saw him on this map where he did the same thing on a short through the wall after the door went down. That was ridiculous, and it seems like that's what Brave AF does in his spare time. It just works out ratting through wall bangs he can play with. Durka looking like he's just going to hold down the position, and they've even put in a lot of utility just to deny that extra space, the null command, to make sure utility can't do too much. And well, the Bladestorm is online, but at the time, Mitch, is it worth it?
I mean, they know that these players are coming in through short. They saw the spike drop just a moment ago, fought for the control. At this point, for SMB, I don't think you commit that ultimate. Certainly not when that player has the rifle to play with. Is rushing in towards the site, but even getting this plant now should be impossible. 10 seconds, they can come through the wall. And I meant the cosmic divide, but then I saw, Brave AF was on short as well, so he can come through the wall quite literally. So there's a lot of problems there for SMB, and they end up 3-2. But they'll get their buy up. You know,
these last couple though have looked kind of scary. Like, just in the manner in which Fnatic have been able to win them. Like that round, sure, they did throw a couple of ultimates in, but I also think they're ones that realistically, if you use to boost your economy, I'm almost completely okay with it. They've got the finances to buy into the next round. They now have the operator as well. So I want to see an almost instant response from Supermassive Blaze. Otherwise, I'm going to start worrying about them, because for them, I believe if they lose today, that's it. They're in relegation.
Yeah, they could be facing a loss of their spot in VCT. Just certainly a lot to think about.